very good afternoon from the Arms Park in Cardiff City Centre for round one of a delayed and reformulated Under-20s Six Nations Championship. We have a festival of top-tier age group rugby for the rest of the day in store this afternoon and into the evening as the next generation of stars of world rugby are on show. Here is the running order, starting with Scotland versus Ireland, kicking off in just a few minutes' time. That's going to be followed by Le Petit Crunch, England versus France at 5 p.m. And this evening's entertainment is going to be brought to a close with Wales, the hosts, facing Italy.
Oh, yeah. Sorry, thank you.
We're underway very shortly as 2019 champions, Grand Slammers, Ireland face Scotland, of course. A championship brought to an early close with the impact of COVID 15 months ago, and for many of the young men in action this afternoon, this is the first taste of international rugby. So here come Ireland, Grand Slammers in the last completed championship 2 years ago, and they had already sealed a triple crown when COVID brought the 2020 tournament to a premature end. A squad hit by injuries in the build-up to their arrival in Cardiff, but with plenty of strength and depth throughout the squad. No crowds yet, but there is hope that as this championship carries through over the next 24 days, they will return to action for Scotland. Their last championship they did bring to a close, all 5 games during the 2020 campaign, and they signed off that one with wins against Italy and a thumping 7-try victory here in Wales in the final round. But this is a new format, a new opportunity for these young men to show what they are about. Action at the top end that they've been starved of throughout the strangest of years. But they're back in action in the Welsh capital. We're now going to pause as we continue with the support of Rugby Against Racism.
Integrity and respect are the core values of our game. Rugby is united against racism. We'd like to mark our stand against discrimination with a moment's silence. Thank you very much. Okay, please join
And
us
now we will pause for the anthems.
Now we join us to the singing of the Scottish National Anthem.
Emotions running high already, nerves clear to see in some of the faces, but here are the teams for Scotland. Head coach Sean Lenine has selected a young side with plenty of fizz. Murray Redpath follows in his father's Brian's footsteps at 9. Archie Smeaton, Harry Morris and Ben Muncaster, who has represented Edinburgh in the Pro 14 this season, make up an abrasive back row. And 18-year-old Alex Samuel captains from Lock. For Ireland, head coach Richie Murphy has pulled together a starting 15 combining players from all 4 provinces. Ben Moxham and Alex Sirocco, the only 2 to have tasted under-20 action before. James Humphreys, son of Irish legend David, will pull the strings from 10. And Alex Kendellen, the sole representative of the starting 15 from Munster, captains from 8. Squads of 26 in this championship, given the condensed nature of the tournament ahead. Christian Townsend, son of course of Gregor, is there in amongst the Scottish subs. Our man in the middle this afternoon is Italian Gianluca Gnecchi, and we're all set for the start of a new format of the under-20s Six Nations. It is going to be Cammy Scott to get the match underway. Alongside me in the commentary box this afternoon, former Irish lock Mike McCarthy. Mike, how much are you looking forward to this afternoon's contest?
Well, it's hugely exciting. You know, both teams looking to set their stall out, bring that physicality, and that first game is about getting that momentum, getting off to a flying start, and you know the rest will follow with that confidence going forward. But you know, when you haven't played for a long time, it's important to come with that physicality, but also keep that discipline squeaky clean.
So it's Cammy Scott to get underway. He kicks straight down the throat of Alex Kendellen, the Irish skipper. Setting up inside the 22 is Conor McKee, the Ulsterman. Ulster halfbacks for the Ireland under-20s this afternoon. And Scotland early in possession inside their own half. Good chop tackle there by Cahill Ford. Redpath. Here's Scott looking for space in behind on his left foot. Jamie Osborne, another left pegger. That one was touched and charged down. Troublesome bounce to the ball for Cammy Scott. He looks inside, it's a good kick chase. Ollie Melville chopped to the ground. A little bit of pressure on Scotland early on in the first opening minute. Cole Lamerton just tries to settle. Murray Redpath hurried along by referee, told to use it. He used every one of the 5 seconds of that there. But Mike, you mentioned early nerve settlers, but we already see the intent with this Irish press defence.
Yeah, it's a pretty good start from both sides. Ireland winning the territory battle there, and a great tackle by Jamie Osborne. Really good tackle there, and you know this Irish side have got 5 players who've played in the Guinness Pro 14, made their debuts this season, so certainly a bit of experience here for this Irish side.
And of course, given that top-end rugby has been the only opportunity for many, that experience could prove pivotal this afternoon. It's Alex Sirocco, lifted high, wins that one. Here's McKee. Straight up carry by Cahill Ford. McKee again. Loughnane. Illo this time round the corner. Ireland looking to pressurise this Scotland defence. Opportunity down the left flank. Josh O'Connor with the carry, does well to stay in field. A beautiful line on the unders. Oisin McCormick gets within inches of the line. Fantastic opportunity for Ireland. Now it's about the composure. They're so close. Alex Sirocco's over the top of it, dummies and goes. Can Scotland hold them out? Referee Gnecchi suggests the ball is there. And it is. Again, Scotland managed to hold out Ireland. What an opportunity for Ireland to start this half and this match brilliantly with 5 points. White ball, good line by Jennings. But again, the Scotland defence holds firm. Patience again, but they're over. Ireland drive over. And up to his feet is Alex Soroka. And it's the dream start for the Irishman.
Yeah, what a fantastic start for Ireland. You know, cool, calm, collective, building the phases, bringing the physicality, running hard, running direct, really good width on the game. And, you know, a great line break there by Oisin McCormack, almost getting over, just short. And then they kept their patience, kept building. And Alex Soroka gets over. But lovely hands here, using the full width of the pitch. Good clearing of the ruck, getting past the ball, quick ball on a plate for the 9, and look at that lovely line back against the grain. And then their pick and going game, latching with players either side, driving them through the contact. And a lovely finish by Alex Soroka, who also made his Guinness Pro 14 debut this season back in February. He also got 2 caps during the 2020 Six Nations. Brilliant all-round player, and what a dream start for Ireland. Fantastic stuff.
Ireland clinical in the 22, whether under-20s or the senior side, is something that they are known for. And James Humphreys has turned 5 into 7 with the simple conversion. That one rather came off the side of his boot, so it does give Scotland good field position to try and respond to what must be a disappointing start to this half.
Yeah, certainly that's a coach's pet hate, when you score a try and then you don't deal with the kickoff, and that's pretty poor from Ireland there. You know, they score a great try, come back, receive the kickoff, and it's a pretty poor exit, and giving Scotland a great opportunity, great chance to, you know, put a marker down themselves.
So Patrick Harrison, another one with Pro 14 experience this season. Debut against Ulster earlier this month. Youngest in the club's history at hooker. Scott with the show and go. He's chopped down by Ilo. Muncaster to Lamberton. Redpath, multicoloured boots. Hits Harry Morris, who again is chopped down. Suffocating Irish defence. Scott show and go. This time it's Mark Morrissey, the big lock, chopping him down. Redpath again. Muncaster, key man for Scotland's go forward this afternoon. Gourley at first receiver. That one couldn't go to hand. It's not forward. It's a frustrating error for Scotland, but Mike, let's take into consideration the challenges that have been faced by these young men right across the board. Obviously, there hasn't been any rugby beyond the professional ranks over the past 15 months. How big a challenge is this, but how great an opportunity is this for these young men to get back into action?
Yeah, it's a big challenge. You know, a lot of guys haven't played a lot of rugby since February 2020, and that's something Richie Murphy's spoken about from the Irish side. You know, it's been quite hard preparing. You know, there's guys coming in who've had different levels of game time. They played 2 games against one against Leinster A, where they were losing 14-0 at half time. They came back and drew 14-all. They then played Munster A, and the Munster team, you know, has to be said, was probably a Guinness Pro 14 side. It was very strong, so they came up short there, but it was a great hit out for them, and great to get, you know, a bit of game time experience under their belts coming into this.
And that's the challenge: training camps versus red hot action. And that's what we do have here at the Arms Park in Cardiff this afternoon for Scotland. They had hit-outs against England under-20s and training session against the full Scotland squad as well. But there is nothing quite like the real thing. Ollie Melville clears downfield. Again, it's that left foot of Jamie Osborne finding some space and ground in the backfield. He's chasing after it. Scott pegged back onto his left foot. Didn't get a hold of all of that one. Here's Kendallen inside to McKee. McKee again looks at this left flank to O'Connor. O'Connor sizes up the challenge in front of him. Finn Callaghan and Elliot Gourley eventually get him to ground. There's a good tackle coming in that time by Alex Samuel, the skipper. McKee again. Kendellen. Dynamism from Harry Sheridan, but again, the Scottish defence halting Ireland for now. Lovely little dink kick by James Humphreys. That one's found ground, but well gathered. Lovely offload there, my Melville. Here's Redpath. Redpath with some space in front. Puts it onto his right foot. Didn't get all of it. He had men with him, but chose to kick through. Hold up. Lovely tackle.
Yeah, advantage offside.
Callahan looking for space in behind. Playing advantage here. Bounce of the ball.
Yeah.
No advantage coming, and that breathless bit of play comes to an end. But little opportunity there for Ollie Melville through the middle, Mike.
Yeah, it was a lovely. It all started with a lovely defensive set from Scotland. They had good spacings, good width, and they were getting off the line. They were winning the collision, stopping that Irish momentum in the carry. So a really good defensive set there. They'll certainly want more of that. And you know, off turnover ball, Ollie Melville with a lovely little break down the middle through the ruck. Ireland going nowhere, so a little dink over the top. There was nothing on. And then Ollie Melville does really well here, just picking through the middle.
Canny Scott has managed to find a good touch from that penalty as well. He won his first full under-20 cap in this fixture in last year's Six Nations Championship, a try scorer on that day. Scotland gave up a big lead that day. 4 second half tries, not enough to get them over the line. Here's Muncaster. As Scotland go to the maul. Held out by Ireland initially, but they looked to sheer right. Here's Redpath. Gourley. Penalty in and around the breakdown. Gourley getting a little bit isolated, and Ireland holding them out. One phase defence.
Yeah, lovely turnover. Good work initially from Scotland. Not really getting any momentum in that maul, and they broke out, and the two guys coming into ruck, the ball carrier, were a little bit slow to the ball carrier, just allowing Alex Kendellen to get in there, get over the ball, and a brilliant turnover. You know, he really does have this all-round game. He carries, he's physical, but he's also good at getting down and dirty and getting in that poach position and stealing ball.
It's Ronan Loughnane over the top. Cahill forward, but it's not straight. Those are the kind of unforced errors that we might expect in the first quarter, certainly, of this one, Mike, as both teams settle.
Yeah, certainly. I think there's going to be a few mistakes. As we said, a lot of players haven't had much game time. You can't replicate that game time by training. You only get it from the real thing. So there's certainly going to be a few mistakes, but it's been a really bright, exciting start so far. For Ireland coming into this game, Richie Murphy touched on it at the start. They're missing. They've lost a few players on the way, about 7 players missing. But you know, great opportunity for others. One area that they might struggle in is in the second row. They've got some great players there, but they're missing, you know, their 2 starting second rows, Joe McCarthy and Darragh Murray. So a big task for Mark Morrissey and Harry Sheridan. 2 great players. But Harry Sheridan more of a 6.
Pressure coming on that Scotland scrum. Redpath gets it away. Ball out. Here's Scott, Melville, Callahan, little left-footed step, almost got away from Josh O'Connor. Really good contest down this near side flank so far. Here's Redpath, Scott. Had to reach back for that one, Elliot Gourley. Michael Gray of the Boroughmuir Bears, Glasgow Warriors Academy there. So real footwork. Redpath is scrappy at the base, but he does well. Finds Scott, nothing on, so he goes high. Callahan's after this one. Can he keep it in? It does so. Did that go forward?
No.
Yes, it did.
Thank you, Ben. Not blue.
He gets up really well. Little tap back. Unfortunately, it goes forward. Good phase of play from Scotland, though.
Mike, you've spoken to Richie Murphy over the past couple of days. What ambitions does he have? Obviously, coming in, having been Grand Slam champions in 2019, 3 wins from 3 in the last championship. What's he expecting from this crop of players?
Yeah, I think he's looking for more of the same to continue on. As you mentioned there, they won the Grand Slam in 2019, won their first 3 games in 2020, picking up the Triple Crown. I think if they'd won one more game out of the last 2, they would have won the Six Nations again. So, you know, it's that conveyor belt of talent. We've seen it, you know, all those players going into the 4 provinces. They're just seeing, you know, especially at Leinster with that school system, the guys coming through thick and fast.
And there's one of them, Cathal Ford, the Connacht man. Good step to get beyond the first defender. Huge hit there by Max Williamson. The tight head lock for Scotland. This time it's McKee going high. Melville underneath it.
Knock on the tackle.
Throws it away to nobody, but Murray Redpath, show and go. Runs into his own man, but there was no obstruction there. Good fight by Redpath, making 3-4 metres. He had no right. Harry Morris. Scotland playing a bit of rugby inside their own third at the moment, just looking to make a breakthrough. Somehow, Patrick Harrison. Scott again, going high. The kick chase is coming on. Well taken by Jamie Osborne. Strong under the pressure of Michael Gray. Sammy Lowe with the carry. McKee, Humphreys. Try scorer Soroka with his soft hands. McKee again. Humphreys again. Good chop tackle coming in there. Pressure on the ball. Scott King it was. The Heriots man with that chop tackle. Humphreys, realising there's not an awful lot on, goes to the skies. Good chase, but bounces to Scott. It was a perfectly weighted kick by Humphreys. Morris tries to set the platform for Redpath.
Use it.
Calls in his pal Ollie Frostick, the Ealing trail finder, to make the ruck slightly deeper. Redpath goes high. This is one to compete on. Sirocco couldn't gather it, but it's gone backwards. Play on for Ireland. Here's Cathal Ford. He's a big, powerful man, isn't he? Adept place kicker as well. Melville.
Stop it.
Long phase of play. Lots of kicking. Tension still running high. Both sides just trying to find their way in the game. Good pressure coming on from Melville, but referee Nyeki saying that Scotland getting ahead of the kicker, advancing on Ireland, and it's an easy penalty, a soft penalty to give away there, Mike.
Yeah, a bit of a soft penalty. 2 teams kind of weighing each other out. Apart from the try at the start, both defences have been pretty good. They've both got, you know, strong defensive lines. They're coming off the line hard and making those chop tackles. So both teams find it quite difficult to get any momentum and win the gain line. But you mentioned Cathal Ford there at 12 for Ireland. He's, you know, he's very versatile. Ball handler and distributor. Plays 10 as well. And he spoke about how he's sat and soaked so much information from training with the likes of Bundy Aki and Jack Carty back at the province, taking on as much information as he can from those 2.
His first year in the academy, real breakthrough season for Cathal Ford. Mark Morrissey rising highest, and the maul gets going. This Irish maul bursting away. Here is that man Ford. 2-3 metres over the gain line. The ball's there for McKee, or is it? No, it's not.
Let's go. Holding
over the top of the ball. I think it was Harry Morris. The open side doing brilliantly again, holding the fight, winning the shoulder height and winning his side. A crucial penalty as Ireland started to build the pressure.
Yeah, similar turnover to Soroka's a few minutes ago, back down the other end. But an initial really good maul by Ireland, and that's a big weapon that certainly with their new coaching setup of, you know, Leamy and Tucker and Richie Murphy, you know, Leamy and Tucker would certainly have that confrontational element to their game, and Tucker loves to have the maul as a weapon in the game plan. And the maul was very good there to start with, got that momentum going forward, and a fantastic turnover by Harry Morris.
Okay.
Patrick Harrison hits his man once again. Alex Samuel, the skipper, right at the top of the jump. As Scotland slowly advance up this artificial Cardiff Arms Park surface. It's Redpath again. Scotland playing into a little breeze, so that one is holding. It's a perfectly weighted kick. And it wasn't handled by Ben Moxham under the pressure of Michael Gray, and it's a fantastic net gain for Scotland.
Yeah, fantastic kick, great height on it, allowing their players plenty of time to get that chase up and put Ben Moxham under maximum pressure, and unable with that pressure of guys charging at and unable to hold on to that ball. Ben Moxham, another one with that Guinness Pro 14, making his debut this season as well.
His second under-20s cap. Ulster debut in round 9 of this season's Guinness Pro 14 for Ben Moxham, the Ballymena man. And it's Edinburgh's Patrick Harrison trying to drive things from the back of the maul. Bursting down the blind side, shearing off the maul. Can Scotland win the ball back? They do.
No clear release.
The call coming in, no clear release from Temi Lasisi after the tackle. Huge 19-stone loosehead prop, Leinsterman.
Yeah, and he's come through the youth, the club system, opposed to the traditional schools route. So the likes of Sean O'Brien, Tyke Furlong, Shane Horgan, they've come through that club system, but most of the players come through that more traditional route of the schools. See Michael's school producing, that conveyor belt of talent, the likes of Ryan Baird, James Ryan, Dan Levy coming through recently.
The production line that keeps on producing, but here Scotland are as we reach the end of the first quarter of this match. Can they capitalise on what has been a really fascinating opening quarter? First really meaningful
Number 5
advance into Ireland's 22. Advantage coming here for Scotland. Murray Redpath digs deep. Good chop tackle coming in there on Max Williamson. Little dig through, a shot to nothing. It's there, and he's over, and it's Elliot Gourley, the sail shark, who manages to pick up the bouncing ball, dives over the line, and Scotland are right back in this contest.
A fantastic response from Scotland. A lovely try. They've obviously identified during the week that Ireland bring a serious amount of line speed, especially when they're on their own line. And a lovely little chip off the side of the boot, I think it was, finished off by Elliot Gourley from Sale Sharks. A lovely response from Scotland, back in the game with the kick to come here. Does really well to pick that up.
Oh, Scotland finally find the chink in the Irish armoury defensively, and they've capitalised, and the books are balanced. Cammy Scott turns 5 into 7, and here's the Scottish response that Sean Linnane would have been looking for.
Yeah, good patience by Scotland after that maul, and that is a sublime little chip through under pressure. A great pickup from Elliot Gourley, and that's certainly going to give them confidence going forward. Fantastic try. You have to get off the line defensively when you're in your own 22. You can't go soft. You've got to come up hard. You've got to come up fast. But to execute that skill under pressure, that little kick off the side of the boot, absolutely fantastic stuff.
You mentioned after the Irish score, though, Mike, coach always wants to see a response afterwards from the kickoff. That bouncing ball pinning Scotland back into their 22 here. And Murray Redpath, who must take credit for his box kick that found the field position initially, from which Scotland launched their attack, goes high. Jamie Osborne does really well to duck under the first tackle. First defensive set post try for Scotland here. Redpath coming through on his opposite man, McKee, who does well. His left flank again, that pass going to nobody. Josh O'Connor couldn't gather it. And Scotland breathe again.
Yeah, pretty poor pass there, but Scotland were looking a little bit narrow in their defence. They're very tight together, and Ireland play this expansive game using the full width of the field. If that pass had gone to hand, they could have been in a little bit of trouble.
Yeah, leave it time. Number clear, please, Scotland. Number 5. go, Mark, let's go.
This Irish side scored 150 points on the way to the Grand Slam in 2019 under Noel McNamara.
Different time of year for this Six Nations Championship. Not sure how much you would have enjoyed playing in June and into July, Mike. I think all the players this afternoon are grateful that they've not had the 25 to 30 degrees heat that there was in Cardiff all through the preparation of this week.
Yeah, exactly. I can tell you what, when you get over 30, you don't enjoy a 4G pitch and you don't enjoy playing in heat.
First stop. Keep the binding green.
It's a perfect afternoon for it here in Cardiff. As Scotland look to add to their advances, continue to build on that 7-pointer just a few moments ago. Carry coming in there by Archie Smeaton, the Cambridge University student.
No, never out. It's never out, Captain.
Exam time for him at the moment as well, managing to juggle representative rugby with his studies.
The hungry caterpillar is back.
There you go. Redpath goes high, but he curses himself as he does so. That one making no meters. It's knocked on by Scotland, trying to regather. Ireland now have it back. McKee looks up and sees Ronan Loughlin is hooker. McKee back to the blind side. Soft hands, both locks combining. Powerful run again by Josh O'Connor. It's a great contest on this near side wing. Here's Humphreys. Cahill forward. McKee again. Jacking back and forwards within the 20 metres from this touchline. Shot coming in there by Samuel. Here's the skipper, Kendallen. Smashed by two men, but looks after possession again. Humphreys. Oh, looked for a second like it might get a little bit dangerous, but I think both Scotland players did actually bring the player to ground safely. A few afters.
We speak about winning the collisions and momentum and go forward, and Josh O'Connor certainly gave them that up that left-hand flank.
Time is up, injury.
Oshie McCormack not expecting that. You've always got to be ready, hands up, you've got to be animated, look like you're going to get the ball. But this is that rustiness we touched on before. Having not played for a long time, it does take a bit of time to get those micro skills up to speed.
And with all things considered, Mike, we've had a really interesting 25 minutes, haven't we? Given that both of these sides come into play. You mentioned that the Ireland under-20s played both Munster and Leinster A teams, and for Scotland it was England under-20s. They had a couple of hit-outs, but we've mentioned already there's nothing like the real thing. So what are your thoughts on the opening 25 minutes of action here?
I think it's been a great, enterprising, exciting start. Both teams trying to play some really good defence from both sides, bringing that kind of line speed and physicality. Some of the attacks been incredible, really good stuff, and both teams being patient in their build-up in attack, you know, not forcing the pass all the time. Building phases, trying to put that defence under pressure, and then those chinks do start to appear. Great position here for Scotland, midfield scrum, so they've got options both sides.
So Ireland dominating the territory. So far, almost 60% territory for Ireland, but Scotland almost 60% possession. So a lot of rugby being played, maybe just in this second quarter of the field so far, that we're currently seeing the action in.
Reset, guys.
There's one of the growing number of mulleted hairdos. Mike, if you just trimmed your sides, you wouldn't be a million miles away yourself.
High and tight, but looking at Sam Illo there, former number 8 at school, really good round the park, explosive, you know, and he's learnt scrummaging pretty fast considering he was a number 8 at school, so fantastic prospect there for Ireland.
And this is an area, of course, when you consider the lack of action for these players, scrum time, the skill level, the ability to have that, to be battle hardened in that area. The pressure coming on from Ireland, but Ben Muncaster does well. Channel one ball to Patrick Harrison and route one by Ben Muncaster. And James Humphreys has felt every ounce of Ben Muncaster's weight there. slow to his feet, but finding his way back into the midfield. Redpath goes high.
Play on.
Taken by Osborne. This game of chess in the middle third.
Use it.
McKee. Key and Redpath, key men within the kicking duel this afternoon. Melville steps off his left as well to get away from the initial tackler, but runs into some heavy traffic.
On the ground with the elbow.
Penalty given.
Never on your feet.
Again, in and around that breakdown. Ireland just losing a little bit of discipline in that tackle area, Mike.
Yeah, and I think Scotland are bringing the physicality now. At the start, it was all Ireland, bringing that physical edge. You know, we saw a carry there from Ben Muncaster. I mean, what a carry. Talk about, you know, wanting to run over the top of someone. Hopefully James Humphrey's all right there, but, you know, Ben Muncaster certainly targeted him. Ran straight for him, no footwork there whatsoever. No Samoan sidestep. And, you know, a really good carry.
Time is off.
And hopefully Humphreys can stay on here.
North Berwick boy Ben Muncaster moved north to Edinburgh from Leicester Tigers, having come through the academy system while at rugby school. Debuted for Edinburgh in the Rainbow Cup in April, and of course, Mike, you mentioned it earlier on with regards to Connaught and Cahill Ford's development for so many of these players in the academy system. The opportunity to learn from seasoned, experienced, big-name players. Ben Muncaster, there was the Fijian sidestep there with that he may have learned from Bill Matter.
Yeah, some lovely stuff. Yeah, but you know, the guys, when you're this young and you get the opportunity to train with the first team, your province, any opportunities you get like that, you have to soak it all up, ask as many questions as you can, not be shy. 9. You want to get as much experience, as much knowledge from these pros as you can do.
So James Humphreys has gone off for an HIA. He's been replaced at the moment by Tim Corkery.
First stop.
Scotland again look to make most of this field position. Redpath, lovely hands to set Finn Callaghan clear, but he's chopped down. Redpath again. Patrick Harrison growing into this game. One of the experienced players to have played at the top level this season with Edinburgh. Redpath again. Wide to Scott. Scott, no look pass to the try scorer Gourley. Advantage being played though.
Advantage over. Inside the 22.
Kendelin puts it on his right foot. Advantage over, and that one again coming to nothing for Scotland.
We were inside, guys. Okay. Ireland, keep the line, please.
Yeah, running that hard line back against the grain, just couldn't quite keep hold of it. Scotland looking threatening there until that moment, but they've just got to be more patient, not kind of give those 50-50s, really try and build those phases, get into a high phase count, tire this Ireland team out, and that's when you start to see gaps, see space, teams start to give penalties away.
So there's that man Harrison, who will look to hit his man again in the line out. This time he can't do so. It's the first line out loss for Scotland this afternoon. And Oisin McCormick comes free with ball in hand, and mocks him in the headband. Runs into the man in front of him. It's accidental offside. Sensed a little bit of frustration creeping into this Ireland. Just some unforced errors in the past few minutes, Mike.
Yeah, and just another sign that these guys haven't played much together. They haven't had much game time over a long period of time. Just not slightly quite on the same page. Things aren't running quite as clockwork as they'd hope and as expect. Yes, they do all these walkthroughs and going through the game plan and, you know, where they're meant to be and all that kind of stuff, but yeah, just slightly out of position there, gets in the way, and it's opportunity for Scotland now. Certainly some famous dads watching on today anyway, with Christian Townsend, Gregor Townsend's oldest son, and Murray Redpath there. Humphreys obviously at 10 for Ireland as well.
Bind.
Just a few of a number of sons of, brothers of, who have already represented their countries at various levels. Here's Melville with the carry down that left-hand flank now. Good scrum attack, first phase for Scotland. Muncaster stripped almost there of possession, but Archie Smeaton right on his shoulder does brilliantly to regather. skipper. Alex Samuel plays scrum half briefly. Here he is again, going ruck to ruck. Muncaster again, chopped low. Ireland coming to life when they see the Edinburgh man in possession. Key man in Scotland's go forward. Scotland reached 6 phases. Ireland, you'd have to say, have control of this at the moment. Redpath continues the theme, actually, one that's developed through the opening 32 minutes. Play a few phases. If it's going nowhere, go high. That one might be a little bit too long. Yes, it is. Conor McKee there to gather that one. He was unused as one of 7 Ulstermen in Noel McNamara's squad during the last campaign.
It's such a bright start for Ireland. You know, they just need to get that territory, get back down Scotland's end. Set piece, keep hold of the ball, build those phases, and you know, an opportunity will come. It's been all Scotland since that try. Certainly the momentum's with the Scottish side at the moment.
So just over 7 minutes of this first half to go. Muncaster at the Harrison-Muncaster combination again. Combining. Here is Harrison down the left flank, sees an opportunity. McKee does well initially to get to Michael Gray down that left flank. Big carry by Max Williamson. Scott. There's Alex Samuel. Giant of a man at 6'9". 18 years old, 6'9".
He's still growing, isn't he?
Here's hoping. I'm hoping I'm still growing as well, mind you. Makes you feel very old when you're commentating on 18-year-olds, more than half my age, but there we go.
Especially when they're 6'9" as well.
Exactly. Could fit in their pockets. So here's McKee. You'd have to say defences on top in this opening half. Lots of kicking for territory. That one there by McKee, gathered by Callaghan, who's had a really good battle on this near side against Josh O'Connor so far this afternoon. Redpath, Scott, Jack in defence. It's a good read by Ben Moxham, showing his experience there. The Lorne-born winger stepping in, cutting out the attack and forcing that error from Scotland.
Yeah, really good read by Ben Moxham there. You know, if you come in like that, you have to make that tackle. It's one of those ones in the video session on the Monday when you look at it. If you kill the play and stop it dead, you get praised. That pass gets away and they make a break down the left-hand flank, you're in big trouble. So, yeah, really good read there. Puts the pressure on, forces the pass forward.
So first scrum put in for Ireland for what seems like a little while, just their third of the game. They do seem to have had the dominance, albeit Edinburgh have done really well on the scrum put-in to be able to get the ball up and away.
Yeah, we mentioned for Ireland they're missing the 2 starting second row partnership, 2 kind of big heavy lads, so interesting to see how Ireland are going, and they seem to be going pretty well in the scrum here.
So here's McKee. Oh, that one's off his head. That one maybe play on. Melville sticks out a right peg, but this one's anybody's. Beautifully controlled. I wonder if the Oisin McCormick was held back there.
Guys,
they're going to go to the TMO. It's the first bit of action for Sean Brickell in the truck. Let's hear what referee Gianluca Niecki has to say.
I have no problem with what happens initially. I believe it comes off his head. What I've got here is 11 blue, taking the player when he's in a realistic position where a probable try could be scored.
Do you want to check? It's better to check.
We can have a look.
Yeah.
But in my view,
Can you just watch for the tackle off the ball here?
We're gonna look at exactly this one. Okay. Yeah. Sean, come into the screen.
Gianluca.
So as expected,
To check, please, possible foul play of tackling off the ball by blue inside the goal.
I think it's Michael Gray in the 11 jersey for Scotland who potentially held back Oisin McCormick, Mike.
Yeah, a bit unlucky there for Scotland, you know, coming off an Irish player's head.
Gianluca.
So a bit of a lucky break there for Ireland, but yeah, Scotland perhaps pulling him back as Oisin McCormack goes to score. We'll have a look at it here. Little chip forward with the foot, and then, yes, he's pulling him back. Number 11, Michael Gray. Oisin McCormack can't quite get to it.
Probably we need to use the camera. Okay, goal.
Yeah,
okay,
I think
Gianluca, I think that's your best angle. The second one.
Definitely slightly slows him.
Okay, guys, from what I saw is number
Got
11.
all the angles.
Okay.
Gianluca.
Okay, thank you, Sean. Is number 11 playing the man without the ball? It's a clear occasion for green to score the try. So it's penalty try, yellow card to 11 blue. Correct? Number?
Yeah, I agree.
Okay, thank you very much. Captain in number 11, please. Clear occasion to score a try. No chance for him to go to the ball, tackling the man. Cynical play. And penalty try as well. Yep.
So it could be a big moment in this match. Michael Gray sent to the bin for 10 minutes. Penalty try awarded. Oisin McCormack makes the most of some fortune for Ireland with the ball coming off the head. Wonderful footwork, something that would probably be more at home in the Euros, Mike, but he made the most of it, and Ireland have made it count.
Yeah, sometimes you make your own luck, and it comes off the head here. Certainly a bit fortuitous off Jamie Osborne's head, but you know the finish is brilliant. A little chip through there. Oisin McCormack definitely gets held back. You know, certainly feel for Michael Gray, because that's just instinctive. I think anyone in that position would have tried to stop the try.
So Ireland capitalise, single attack, something from nothing. How can Scotland respond?
Back in.
The big left boot of Jamie Osborne pins down field. Here's Melville with the return, but McKee is there. McKee charged down by this occasion. Melville one-on-one, can he get to it? No, Jamie Osborne does well, but he's carried that over. It will be a 5-metre scrum. Real tenacity shown by Ollie Melville there.
Great work rate, great chase, and you know they're certainly going to need that for 10 minutes with a man in the bin. You know, chasing lost causes there. Ollie Melville has to take it, and Jamie Osborne takes the ball over the line. Fantastic work. Little bits like that for your team give you a massive lift. You call them no talent moments. We used to talk about them at Leinster. You know, no talent moments. You don't have to have skill, or it's just a desire to want to do it, to chase a bit of a lost cause.
Number 8, please.
So Scotland with a fantastic response. We're hearing that Tim Corkery is now a permanent replacement for James Humphreys, who hasn't recovered from that HIA after the Ben Muncaster carry.
Yeah, it's a big loss for Ireland because they're missing Cian Woolley at fly half as well.
Here's Muncaster off the base. Muncaster gets beyond 2-3 defenders. Eventually hauled down. He's 2 metres short. Here's Redpath. Redpath to Frostick. Can Scotland make the most of this attack? It's gone loose, but and it has gone forward. And the celebrations from Ireland as if they've scored a try themselves, showing the pure passion and importance of that moment. With just 2.5 minutes of this first half to go, Scotland error.
Time off.
It's almost like Alex Soroka's injured himself in that celebration there, or maybe just taking some time out. But here is the moment, Mike.
Yeah, big carry by Muncaster there again. His appetite for work and to win the collision is huge. And then Oisin McCormack there, I don't think he's supporting his body weight, but he gets in there. I think he's on his elbows, but he gets in there, disrupts it enough to cause the knock-on. Ben Muncaster, he's an explosive player off the base there. We've seen him a few times. Real physical presence for Scotland.
A young man with a big future. Again, when talking about the kind of learnings you can get from the environment that you're in, with the likes of Hamish Watson, Jamie Ritchie, Bill Mata in that group, in the Edinburgh squad. What a fantastic
ready, guys?
Surrounding an environment to be in.
Yeah, exactly, and it's, you know, like I mentioned before, it's really important when you are those young fellas, you know, you don't go into your shell. You know, those opportunities when you're developing, when you're young, to ask questions, you know, and as a senior player, senior players like you to ask questions, take an interest, you know, learn those dark arts that normally come a bit later with more experience.
He was also part of Gregor Townsend's squad as one of the apprentices given the opportunity to train with the senior squad during the Six Nations. So he's one of the few players within this young Scotland under-20s side to really have experienced an intensity this season. So many, of course, let's not forget, starved of the opportunity of match action. Ireland with the scrum. There's Kendall, the captain. Chopped by Murray Redpath, did just enough. No. Real fight at the base there by Archie Smeaton. Couldn't get his hands on it on that occasion. This time it's Ronan Loughnane with the carry, just trying to set up this platform for McKee, but Ireland can't afford to just wait for the clock to tick down. It's a great exit by McKee. Does really well in a tight angle to find an outcome.
Yeah, Scotland certainly not making it easy for Ireland to exit there. Contesting every ruck, being an absolute nuisance at the breakdown, and Ireland have to be careful there because they didn't have any blockers blocking the kick. So Scotland very close to charging that one down. Something Ireland will certainly have to look at half-time, making sure they get those two forward blockers in to protect the kicker.
So final minute of this first half of the opening round of the Under-20s Six Nations Championship. 5 rounds played across 24 days, all in Cardiff, here at the Arms Park. Redpath, quick hands off the top of the line out. Frees Harry Morris into the midfield. This could be the last attack of the half. Can Scotland make it count? Here's Redpath again. Lamberton this time. Slightly better ball for Scotland, but it's a little bit messy at the base on that occasion. Chip over the top. Gourley's after it.
Knock on green advantage.
Knock on advantage. Alex Samuel, the skipper. All 6'9" of him. Gobbles that one up. Lovely offload. Gourley with the footwork.
Advantage over for the knock. Away green.
Good attack for Scotland here. The clock is in the red. Final opportunity of the half. Redpath, Scott. Well gathered by Patrick Harrison. He's been impressive in this first half. Redpath again. Here's Scott. Smeaton again. Drives, but Harry Sheridan looked initially for the choke tackle, but it was the leg drive. Got Smeaton beyond the gain line. Have Ireland managed to find the shape in defence? Lovely outside ball. Hands free by Muncaster, but he's given it away.
Yep.
McKee will look to compose things. Back to Jamie Osborne, and Jamie Osborne smashes the ball into touch off his left foot. And that is the first half. It's been an intriguing first half, full of effort, full of energy, full of physicality. And it's half-time here at the Arms Park in Cardiff. Scotland 17, Ireland 14.
More.
Okay, number 5 on the side. Advantage. Stay.
More.
Okay, number 5 on the side. Advantage. Stay.
More.
Okay, number 5 on the side. Advantage. Stay. Okay. Yeah. Sean, come into the screen.
Gianluca.
Probably we need to use the camera. Okay, in goal. Okay, is it
Gianluca, I think that's your best angle.
Yeah?
Second one.
Captain and number 11, please. Clear occasion to score a try. No chance for him to go to the ball, tackling the man. Cynical play. And penalty try as well. Yeah. Yeah.
Welcome back to the Arms Park in the Welsh capital for this opening match of the Under-20s Six Nations Championship. A championship that's going to run across the next 24 days. COVID bubble life continues for these young men, but it is a return to action, top-end action for these youngsters. The stars of tomorrow, the stars of now, from what we've seen so far this afternoon. And we had a cracking opening 40 minutes. It was eeksy-peeksy, 7-all coming into the final few moments, and Ireland made the most of a little bit of fortune. Penalty try at the end of that first half, coming after a pass hit off the head of Jamie Osborne as he headed towards the line. Yellow card, so Scotland will start this second half. One man down. Michael Gray in the bin, having received a yellow card.
Okay, guys.
And it's going to be Tim Corkery who gets us underway in this second half. On for James Humphreys, permanent replacement after an HIA in that first half. Key 40 minutes for both of these sides. Looking to start off a sprint campaign with victory here at the Arms Park. Scotland playing with a slight breeze behind them. Oh dear, oh dear.
Okay, guys, time is off.
We're going to have a look at this straight away. Referee Gianluca Niecki. It was Harry Morris on the kick chase.
Number 7.
He knew he had got it wrong.
Yeah. You see, yeah. Yeah, and no chance to grab the ball. Okay. We're going to check the closest screen is this one, I think. Okay, Sean, we come to the screen.
So Gianluca
okay, we wait for you,
Niecki
Gianluca.
is talking to Sean Brickell, the TMO.
We wait for you to get there, mate. Okay.
We're going to have another look at this one, Mike, but it didn't look pretty.
It certainly didn't look pretty. You know, you're just wondering, is there any mitigation at the moment? It certainly doesn't look like it, but it's going to start at the top end of red, and then they'll be looking to see if there's any mitigation, which it doesn't look like there's any there. Okay. It's up to Harry Morrissey to make sure that player lands safely. Jamie Osborne coming down, you know, in the neck area there. Certainly doesn't look very good.
He knew what he had done. Hands went up in the air straight away, but I think Harry Morris's
I think
error
the first
there
angle
comes
is the
in
best.
not knowing where the
Put it
ball
back
is,
on field.
Mike, doesn't he? He's got eyes purely on Jamie Osborne there.
Yeah, I don't think there's any intent there. It's more of a clumsy position. But as we said, it's up to him to make sure Osborne lands safely.
Okay.
Let's hear what Gianluca Niecki has to say here.
That is your best angle.
Yeah, okay. Okay, Sean, thanks.
Gianluca?
Yeah, Sean?
Can I hear your decision, please?
Yeah, it's a red card, no mitigation factor.
Yes, I agree.
Okay, captain and number 7, please. Contact in the air, of course. No chance for you to go to the ball. It's a reckless action, it's a red card, no mitigation.
So, Harry Morris is going to be off permanently. Okay. It's a red card. He knew what he had done immediately afterwards. Hands on head as he makes his way down the touchline. No mitigation coming into play after his challenge on Jamie Osborne, and Scotland are going to have to do it the hard way, down to 14 men.
Yeah, hugely disappointing start for Scotland in this second half. Up until half-time, it'd been a very evenly matched game. And then Michael Gray going in the bin just before half-time. I was going to say it was going to be interesting to see how they manage this period of time with the man in the bin, and then Harry Morris gets done with a red card. So huge challenge for Scotland now in this second half.
Harry Morris so impressive in that first half as well. Turned up everywhere in and around the breakdown, both sides of the ball carrying. But now his side down to 14 men as Ireland look to capitalise straight away. The maul is driving. They're within 3 metres. Ronan Loughnane goes to ground. Here's Ford, Cahill Ford. Now it's just the patience game, the power game for Ireland. Can Scotland hold them out? Ireland, of course, scored from a similar position in that first half. The drive comes on from Sam Elo, and Sam Elo is over. Ireland, within 2 minutes of this second half starting, are over the line, and it is Sam Elo, the tight head prop, who comes up with the goods.
Yeah, and Ireland certainly putting their foot on the throat there. A really well worked maul, good length, everyone facing forward, fighting at the front, giving that momentum and go forward. They don't quite get there, but the pick and go game's really good. Ball carrier has a latch at either side of him, driving him those inches, winning that momentum, and just manages, Sam Elo just manages to get over the line and score the try. Looking like it's going to be a long half for Scotland now, with a man in the bin and a man sent off.
So Tim Corkery, he had started his run up, so that is allowed to be charged down.
Yeah, he started.
There we go. So Scotland avoid 2 more points going on the board there. Tim Corkery, unfortunate, the ball just coming off the tee. He had started his run up, so deemed the charge down was fair by Ollie Melville. But as you said, Mike, now here we go on the replay, the ball just comes off the tee there. But as you said, it's exactly the start to this second half that Richie Murphy's Irish side would have been looking for. So it's Cammy Scott that gets underway. Melville goes high, chases hard after it, and almost manages to snaffle Jamie Osborne, his opposite man. Osborne does well to use footwork to get away. Oisin McCormick with the carry this time. Ireland, you can tell, lifted by the energy of that try and knowing that they have the one-man advantage. Beautiful ball out the back door by Kendallin. Footwork by Moxham this time. Corkery floats one into the midfield. Temi Lasisi with the carry on this occasion. Here's McKee again. It's quick ball for Ireland. That one's gone forward. Penalty given.
Yeah, it's deliberate.
Deliberate knock-on deemed against Finn Callahan there. It's a constant area of contention, I feel, Mike, with the knock-on while in the process of making a tackle. That one deemed to have been deliberate.
Yeah, and Scotland under the pump there, they've got to be really careful that they don't put too many people into the breakdown. They've got to almost leave the breakdown, fill the field as much as they can, because every time they put 1 or 2 into the breakdown, try and slow it down or try and get the turnover, if they're not successful. Yep. There's so much space out wide for Ireland to look to play to.
14 blue.
I beg your pardon, I think that one was probably a bit deliberate. Out on that right wing by that man Finn Callahan. Senior academy player at the Warriors, product of GHK. See there as well. Let's not forget, Mike, there's still a yellow card in the bin as well. So Scotland currently operating with 13 men. Key couple of minutes just to be able to get back to at least just 1 man down.
They've certainly made it incredibly tough for themselves. As I said, that first half was very evenly matched. Fantastic game. 2 cracking teams going at it, bringing lots of physicality. And then unfortunately, Scotland get a bit unlucky just before half-time. You know, that ball hitting off the head of the Irish player, leading to a try. And then it's just been it's been a poor start for Scotland in this second half.
So the change has been made. Ollie Leatherbarrow has come on off the bench in the back row for Scotland, and it's the end of the afternoon for Finn Callahan on the right wing. Scotland choosing to go back to 8 up front and go down to 6 backs by taking Callahan off. Leatherbarrow, the Exeter University student. Here's Kendallin round the corner, the captain, looking to put another crushing blow onto this Scotland side. Ireland really energised since the start of this second half. Corkery to Ford. Ford prominent on the go forward for Ireland. Round the corner is Alex Soroka, one of just 2 returning from last year's under-20s. Lasisi. Here's Corkery again. Ford. Double pumps, throws one out the back, but it's dropped to Scott. Brilliant defensive work by Michael. Great read. Here's Redpath looking up over the top, but he's charged down. Through goes Shane Jennings. It's harem-scarem stuff here. at the Arms Park finally coming to an end, but Mike, opportunities for both sides there.
Yeah, helter-skelter stuff that was, and you know, Scotland initially defended that maul really well. We spoke about the maul being a real weapon for this Irish side. They really like to use it and take it to their opposition, but they defend it really well. They sack the maul, they bring it to the ground straight away, so Ireland can't get any go forward. And then just when it looks like Ireland are about to score a try, Michael Gray comes out and chasing lost causes, you know, not giving up, keep fighting, and comes away with the ball, and you know, definitely kills a try-scoring opportunity there for Ireland. But it's the longer the game goes on, the more defending Scotland have to do, the harder it gets. You know, you get tired, you get fatigued, you start to make poor decisions. You know, when you're fatigued, you start to give away more penalties.
Well, you're mentioning fatigue as well, Mike. Let's not forget, this is the first top-end action that many of these players will have had in a long time, probably up to 15 months since the end. The Under-20s Championship of 2020 came to an abrupt end, but we have the benches today, 11 players on the bench for each side, 8 of which can be used, so we're going to see them come into play. We see Ethan McVicker is on, the Melrose man on for Murray Redpath. There he is in shot. Big moment for that young man. Bob Christie, in fact, within the coaching staff, former Melrose man himself, so I'm sure he'll have been able to put some experience onto that man in picture. In fact, 2 scrum halves. There is Murray Redpath. He's had a good afternoon, making a long walk around. Frustrating afternoon, though, of course.
Number 6.
A year young Murray Redpath within this group up at Newcastle University, but cheeky chappy just like his dad Brian.
Look at the yard.
And of course his brother, a Calcutta Cup winner, Cam Redpath, with the full Scotland squad.
And time back on.
Family are quite good at rugby, but it does make me feel a little bit old, Mike. Murray Redpath was about 2 foot tall when I was at Gloucester being coached by his dad, so none of us are getting any younger. So Scotland winning the line out, this 8-man pack, even without Harry Morris, the replacement coming, Ollie Leatherbarrow on to turn that pack into 8, but they're going to be 1 back down, Scotland. Ethan McVicker driving the maul, just waiting for the opportunity to find a box kick, but it's not coming. It's brilliant work within that maul by Harry Sheridan, and one that I'm sure you'll admire there, Mike. Some of the dark arts.
The dark arts, yeah, some lovely play there. You know, Scotland, they're certainly under the pump, and it's going to be very tough for them to get out of their own half, but they've really got to just try and play territory. When they've got this, you know, they're missing 2 players, they've got to try and get down the other end of the field, get that territory, and then when they've got the ball, they've got to really take any chances they can get and take them with both hands.
A few more subs there, waiting on the bench to come off the bench. Jamie Drummond and Michael Jones. But we'll have to wait until after this scrum here. Not sure what it says about scrum halves, Mike, but there are 3 of them within the management team for Scotland Under-20s. Rob Christie, Kieran Beattie and Graham Beveridge. All very experienced heads, former players, all of us over the hill now, of course, but still giving an awful lot back to rugby. But here is the power from Ireland. Scotland scrum in reverse, and Kendallen breaks off the back. Ireland looking to put this game to bed. It's Ruben Crothers with the carry. Round the corner, Harry Sheridan. Try score in the second half, Sam Elo. Patient build up again. Rewarded twice already this afternoon for the men in green. The power game, the game we know Ireland to be so good at through every age group.
Back blue now, back. Number 8, back.
Okay. Beauty is in the eye of the beholder. And right now for Richie Murphy, he's painting beautiful pictures. Here's Corkery, lovely ball. Good defence there by Scotland. managing to hold Jamie Osborne out. The ball comes loose, and this time it's Scotland's turn to celebrate the small wins, and a defensive win and a crucial win for the defence on that occasion.
Yeah, crucial win there for Scotland. You know, they've got to stay in the fight. They've just got to chase everything, be as hungry as possible, and try and stay in this game. You know, the longer the clock ticks on, if they stay within touching distance, you know, they get confidence from that. Yes, they're going to be fatigued, they're going to be tired, but the longer they can come away with little wins like that, it's going to be massive for them going forward. You know, Ireland, it's a completely different landscape this second half. You know, the first half we saw Ireland attacking against Scotland. Scotland were bringing a really good defensive wall, good line speed. They're not able to do that now. They're 2 men down and 1 man for the full game, so it's hard for Scotland to get that go forward and line speed. It means Ireland are attacking against a lot more space.
So we have a bull and a bear off the bench. Jamie Drummond is on at hooker for Patrick Harrison, who's had a really fantastic afternoon, the Edinburgh man, and Michael Jones on at loose head prop, the Boroughmuir Bear, on for Cole Lamberton. Again, it's Muncaster off the base of the scrum, an effective go forward for Scotland under-20s all afternoon so far. But here is Jamie Osborne. Footwork, looks up, sees red-haired Shane Jennings. Scotland again desperately defending, trying to halt this momentum that is unrelenting in the opening 10 minutes of this second half. Here's McKee again. Illo fights beyond the initial challenge, but he's held out. McKee again working hard, ruck to ruck. Here's Harry Sheridan.
Ball available.
Corkery, Jennings on the cut comes Jamie Osborne, gets his hands free, that one's gone forward. Ruben Crothers, and you can hear it's almost the release of pressure for Scotland every time they manage to get any small win within this, Mike. And does this second half have to be about that? Can Scotland, the next score is obviously so important, but they're fully aware they're really up against it with 14 men.
Yeah, another fantastic D set there by Scotland. They're just fighting for everything. They're hanging in there. So important they hang in there. They've backed up a good defensive set with another good defensive set, and that gives them confidence. And you can hear what it means to them. You can hear the little wins. You know, they're cheering. They're slapping each other on the back. You can see what it means to them. They're certainly not going to give up the fight. They're staying in there. And they're trying to harass this Irish attack.
You look at that those possession stats there, though, Mike. It's an uphill battle when possessions that way. What can Scotland do to try and balance the books on that front?
Yeah, it's tough, and it's going to be telling. You know, we're in the 52nd minute. There's a long way to go, and as we said, the longer you defend, you know, you're constantly soaking up pressure, defending, tackling, chasing line breaks. It does sap you of energy, so it's going to be really important. Those kind of all the subs are allowed to come on to make sure they're adding a big impact when they're coming on. Those fresh legs, they're adding not only kind of juice in the tank with the legs, but they're adding noise and energy.
You look at those stats there, Mike. Tackles made, Scotland over exactly double the tackles from Ireland. Tackles missed, really impressive stat for Scotland there, but it's the number of tackles, how exhausting that is throughout the afternoon.
Crouch.
And I think for Ireland in attack, they've just got to be patient. Sometimes when you see an opposition player go off and they're down a few numbers, you can start to think it's a game of sevens. You try and push the offload, you try and give those 50-50s, but that's certainly not needed here for Ireland. They just need to do what they were doing in the first half, look after the ball, build phases, just tire this Scottish side out, and then, you know, those opportunities will create themselves. They don't have to start forcing the pass because Scotland are missing down a few numbers.
So it's Ethan McVicker in possession of the ball. Plenty of clapping, plenty of jeering from both sides. They understand the importance of the next 10 minutes of this match and setting up the final quarter. So it's McVicker with the put-in. Clean strike by Jamie Drummond. Oh, that one's gone loose by McVicker. Really well gathered by Elliot Gourlay, the Scotland try scorer, but eventually just had to stick it onto the right foot, and not much of an advancement for Scotland on that occasion there, and just unforced errors, just poor skill execution on that occasion keeps Ireland in a position to continue to build this pressure on the men in blue.
Yeah, Elliot Gurley does really well to keep hold of that ball, but it's a poor exit, and Scotland just can't get out of this area. They just can't get out of their own half.
It is the Scottish line-out, though. I hadn't noticed that the ball hadn't been regathered by Ireland.
Okay.
So they will get another shot, Scotland. Gone for a 5-man line-out here. The two 18-year-old locks in there for Scotland, and it's the skipper rising highest, but it's messy from Alex Samuel to Ethan McVicker. And again, the celebrations coming from Ireland. Amazing in these stadiums without the fans. You just hear everything from on field. And McVicker frustrated, cursing himself.
Yeah, again, frustrating. It was an excellently well-worked line out by Scotland. You know, the jumper at the top of his jump, great throw by the hooker. But that delivery down to the 9, just not quite right. Miscommunication maybe. Either way, forces the pressure, and it's a poor kick, and you know, pressure back on Scotland.
So Chris Cosgrove is on for Josh O'Connor. Looks like he's going to slot into fullback. Looks like Shane Jennings has possibly slotted onto that left wing there.
Changing the binding, number 8.
Ben Muncaster penalised on this occasion, and ill discipline inside the 22 is going to give the opportunity for Tim Corkery to nudge it into the corner and give this Irish maul another opportunity to have a go at Scotland.
Yeah, Ben Muncaster there, just been deemed to have broken his bind and swimming up the side of the maul. That's what it's called, swimming. You know, when you break your bind and you kind of slowly move to where the ball is. Big defensive set here now for Scotland.
So Ronan Loughnane hits his man, Harry Sheridan, and the maul gets going, gets grinding. The gears start turning, and Ireland are over. It's easy, does it for Ireland. It's accurate, and it's decisive. And the man coming up with the ball is the skipper. It's Alex Kendellen who scores. The Munsterman is over, and Ireland extend their lead. They have their bonus point as well, a crucial bonus point should they go on to win this match. A match that has 25 minutes to go, but Ireland just cruising through the gears.
Yeah, lovely, well-worked maul try. Great throw, great take by Harry Sheridan at the top of his jump. And Scotland don't deal with that threat, and they get the go forward. Alex Kendellen getting over the line. He's certainly led by example today as captain. He's been at the heart of everything that Ireland have done, whether he's carrying, defending, making turnovers. Fantastic display by the captain. Scotland a little bit slow to hit that maul. You know, as soon as the jumper comes down, his feet touch the ground, you have to have the weight of the forward pack hitting it back towards the touchline.
Tim Corkery. Of course, the ball fell off the tee at his last effort. First proper chance for him to convert, doesn't manage on this occasion. And this is where we're kept on our toes, Mike. The 26 players on each side. The bench is now starting to empty.
7 green, sub.
Jack Boyle is on for Temi Lasisi, and Mark Donnelly is on for Sam Ilo. The try scorer, of course, in the second half, who really got things going. Donica Byrne is on as well, the Sligo man.
Yeah.
So it's all changed now, Ireland, as they get the bonus point. Richie Murphy, surely confident of his boys now having done a job. That man, Kendellen, isn't going to stop
for penalty
this afternoon.
Use it, Green.
McKee told to use it. Finds a touch, and Scotland, for the first time in what seems like a long time, Mike, have managed to find their way into the Irish half.
Yeah, first opportunity in this half for Scotland, and you know, the tough thing about the position Scotland find themselves in this half is they've used up so much energy defending. When they come to attack now, and they're missing a player, they're totally sapped of energy, and it's quite hard, quite difficult to attack.
Good contest, Maul.
Alex Samuel is going to keep on going. The skipper wins that one again.
Stop.
Accurate throw by Jamie Drummond. He's now in possession at the back, but Harry Sheridan told to get out of there. He was swimming on that occasion, but listen to referee Nyeki. Carry there, Michael Jones. Line speed starting to come. It was Kendall in again. Here's Scott. So little opportunity for Scott in the second half in possession. Ireland swarming over. Scott in and around that ruck, winning the penalty. The Scottish attack comes to nothing. Just seems like the confidence and energy has just been drained out of them since that try that came soon after Harry Morris's red card.
Yeah, initially it was a good line out. They played a bit of enterprising rugby, but Jack Boyle getting over the ball there and stopping it dead.
Blue 10.
Really good body position, low, in there early, and again it comes down to that fatigue of having to defend for so long. Scotland a little bit slow, sending those two guys in to clear the ruck after the ball carriers carried the ball.
So Cam Scott's afternoon is done. Christian Townsend on for the under-20s. Good afternoon, Gregor, if you're watching on from Jersey. Of course, away with the British and Irish Lions. Might take a bit of your best magic, Townsend magic, to salvage something from this game as Ireland again look to build the pressure. Deliver another sucker punch to Scotland. Here's McKee, looked up, knocked on.
Yeah, look forward.
Came to nothing on that occasion. It'll frustrate young scrum half McKee. Yeah, perhaps another example of Ireland trying to push the pass a little bit, you know, knowing that Scotland have got a man off the pitch, but you know, that looks like one of those pre-worked Joe Schmidt moves, because obviously Richie Murphy has worked with Joe Schmidt for so many years. Richie Murphy, head coach of the under-20s now, coming in this season. He worked with Joe Schmidt with Leinster, and then has been with Ireland for years as a kicking and skills coach, and now doing a great job here with the under-20s. And he will have learned a huge amount from working under Joe Schmidt. You know, we all know how detailed in terms of the analysis and the game plan that Joe brings, and the expectations he has on his own coaches and players. So Richie Murphy certainly has learned from the best.
Square, please. Square. Okay. Crouch.
So into the final quarter of this opener of the round one of the under-20s Six Nations Championship. This compressed version is 6 days between matches. All three matches coming on the same day. So next round next Friday, as Ireland look to continue to build this score. Jamie Osborne chopped down under pressure. There's Ollie Leatherbarrow up off the line defensively on that occasion. Here's McKee. Corkery out the back to Chris Cosgrave. Oh, Ireland down the left-hand flank. Oh, it's beautiful stuff. It is beautiful stuff from Ireland. And Shane Jennings, the Connacht man, flies in for a score. Ireland have their fifth, and they're making the extra man count.
Yeah, Scotland getting very narrow there in defence. As we said, you've got to be so careful when you put a man into the breakdown when you're defending, because it just leaves you short on the outside. And yeah, Scotland very narrow here, and Ireland execute a 3-on-1 very well. A lovely finish from Shane Jennings, showing real pace to finish that. Lovely hands there under pressure, straightening the line. Great finish for the Connacht man.
It's the tightrope of sport, isn't it, at the moment, Mike? Scotland's so competitive in the first half. 1 minute into the second half, go down to 14 men. And, you know, they were only one score down at that stage, but Ireland really have made that extra man count.
Yeah, they certainly have, and it's just, for Scotland now, you just hope that the wheels don't fall off, because, you know, You know, I've been there, you've been there before in games where, you know, you lose a man and kind of things just don't start going your way. And obviously we've spoken about that fatigue that plays into it. It can be a long day at the office, but, you know, Scotland will look back and it'll be such a shame, because that first half they were absolutely fantastic. Both sides of the ledger. Defensively, they were really good with the physicality they're bringing. They showed some great enterprise and attack as well. Yeah. And then you just can't. It's just very hard to win a game when you lose a man.
Corkery adds the 2. Ireland have 30 points on the board, 31-7. And it would take a brave man to say that their afternoon is done by now. The bonus point bagged. Can Scotland find some kind of response, something to really grab out of this game?
Stop at 21.
There's the clearance coming from
Taken back into
Chris Cosgrave. Carried back in. Deemed to have carried that one back in, so that one's straight into touch. So 6 days' time, both sides will return here to the Arms Park. Scotland facing the old enemy. First game of match day 2. Ireland will face hosts Wales in the final game of that round. 2 p.m. kickoff followed by the 8 p.m. kickoff for Wales versus Ireland. And Scotland will be desperate to find something to carry through. Sean Lenine just wanted his team to be competitive in every game, and you'd have to say that for 40 minutes they were very competitive in this one. A fortuitous try giving Ireland a half-time lead, but they were very much in the fight, Scotland. They'll continue fighting for 80 minutes. Here's Townsend. It's the ball away on the cut. McVicker off the base. Ireland looking to drive that line speed that has held Scotland out for all but one try this afternoon. Townsend round the corner again. Can he stay in play? Good fight, but driven over the line.
No advantage, collapse, Green.
No advantage coming though, so we'll come all the way back over here, the 60 or so meters back to the near side touchline for penalty advantage.
Collapsing Green.
Scotland, of course, still with 8 forwards, Mike, so you'd have to assume they're going to go for the corner here and back this maul.
Definitely, they've just got to stay up here now and stay at this end. They've got the territory. And they've got to go to the maul, because when they go to the maul or set piece, you know, obviously takes time off the clock. And if they can get some sort of parity here for this last quarter, get some sort of edge here, get some go forward and get on the score, certainly give them a lift, give them confidence. But also that little chip through could be a good option, because we saw it in the first half with a lovely little grubber off the side of the brute from Cameron Scott. You know, Ireland bring this real line speed, so that space is in there behind.
It's messy ball, but Rhys Tate does really well to gather. Alex Samuel with the pick and go. McVicker is in at the base again.
Great
Scotland this time just looking to fight for that exchange. Just keep advancing towards the Irish line. Is he over? The arm of a medic on the touchline goes up. But on this occasion, Scotland held out. They go again.
Stay on the line, Green, stay on the line.
McVicker. Little loop play. Here's Townsend. He's got 2 men on the outside. There come the afterburners from Michael Gray, but he is chopped down by Shane Jennings. Try scored just moments ago. Now desperate defence. Lovely line, beautiful line. Footwork from Leatherbarrow. He's within a metre. Can Scotland get over? They continue to fight. Ireland, desperate defence.
No.
Good defence by Ireland. Continue to hold on. Here's Gurley, the try scorer in the first half. Jones pirouettes beyond the initial tackle. McVicker again. Leatherbarrow. Rhys Tate, I beg your pardon, was the instigator of this attack with a magnificent angle. Now it's the patience. Jamie Drummond at the base. 12 phases under Scotland's belt. Some really tired bodies out there as we edge into the final 12 or so minutes of this half. Good fight, impact off the benches. Jones again, has he wriggled too far? He has. Ireland celebrate It's a penalty win, and it's 17 on 17. The man to come up with the ball, Jack Boyle, the Leinsterman, 18-year-old debutant. Crucial penalty for his side.
Yeah, it's heartbreaking for Scotland. Some great impact from the bench there. Michael Jones, Ollie Leatherbarrow. What a line by Ollie Leatherbarrow, back against the grain. And they're not giving up, they're fighting, they're staying in there. Just unfortunate they don't come away with any points, but that's a great turnover from Boyle. Big impact also off the bench, getting in there, getting low, getting into that nasty position that a lot of people don't like to get into, putting his body on the line, and a big turnover when they're under pressure.
Potentially an argument there for Harry Sheridan tackling the player when he was still on the ground, but it wasn't seen in the live action, so Ireland escape, and it's Will Riley on off the bench for McKee at scrum half. Down this left touchline again, away it goes, it's wonderful stuff, chipped through by Shane Jennings. Can Shane Jennings get there? Oh, he has done brilliantly, has he? We're going to go upstairs again, but for my money, it looks like Shane Jennings has created a score from nothing.
Yeah, me too. Yeah? Okay, thanks. Sean, Temo call, on-field decision is try. We have a grounding. Just check if there is a possible knock-on before.
Okay, we'll have a look now.
So Mike, here we go. Shane Jennings, we're going to check the is there a knock-on before the grounding?
Gianluca, I'm taking it back a little bit further to check a potential knock-on in midfield, okay?
Okay, thanks. This one you mean? Okay.
Yes. Do you have a camera? Can camera 5 give us an angle on that one, please, from the touchline?
I don't think he touches it.
Or camera 1?
Seems no clear touch by Green. And then grabs the ball.
Just as well, Jamie Osborne clipped his fingernails this morning, but it looks at things, Mike. Yeah, that was the first thing they were looking for, is a knock-on initially by Osborne.
Yeah, this is the one I'm checking here.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm happy with that. Can we go on to check the try now, please?
Exactly, yeah. No clear touch by Green here. Just check it just before the grounding.
Look, I think we need to slow that right down.
Yeah, this camera is good. Just slow down before.
Yeah, I think that's a knock-on. I don't think you can say he's got that under control.
So the ball is... Please. We already checked. So the ball seems in the air to me when the Green player tried to catch it here.
If the ball's over the line, though, he only needs downward pressure, doesn't he?
Yeah, and it's definitely over, isn't it?
Do you agree, Sean?
This is probably the best one here, Gianluca.
Okay.
This angle here.
Do you agree, guys?
Shane Jennings. Has he created something out of nothing?
Yeah, what I see, ball is in the air and I see no clear control by Green player.
No clear control.
Yeah, but
as you say, that
yeah.
ball
okay,
is
Gianluca,
over the line.
those are all the angles.
Okay, this one is fine. And what I see, Sean, is no clear control. Try to grab the ball is in the air. And when it touches the ground, I see no clear control by Green. So for me, it's a knock-on by Green.
Yes, I can't see any clear downward pressure, Gianluca.
Yeah, agreed. So we'll start with the scrum 5 for Scotland.
So we're going to come all the way back. All 15 of Ireland's players were inside their own half celebrating the score.
No try.
But as it is, they're going to go all the way back to the knock-on. It was almost, Mike, as if in trying to gather the ball, Shane Jennings didn't manage to gather it and knocked it on, whereas if he had just gone to place it on the ground, he might have got away with it.
Yeah, it always looks a lot easier in slow motion, doesn't it? But yeah, I mean, it would have been some try. You know, what pace from Shane Jennings and control, and you know, ultimately he just slightly comes off with, you know, getting a knock on, didn't have control of the ball, didn't have that kind of control in the downward pressure, but a lovely break, and you can see the space there, and that, you know, unfortunately for Scotland, that comes from Ollie Melville biting in there. He didn't think he needed to do that. He could have just used the touchline as your friend and shepherd them towards the touchline.
So Scotland have to go from 95 metres. The scrum is in retreat as well. Again, it's Muncaster does really well to get the ball up and away to Gourley. McVicker back to Townsend. And it's a good exit, but for Scotland now, they'll be desperate to finish this half on a high, having had to face the past 30 minutes with just 14 men. They've continued to fight.
Yeah, we've seen how difficult it is in that first 20 minutes after half-time, of how hard it's been for Scotland to get out of their half. It's very, very difficult, you know, constantly soaking up that pressure, that relentless attack after relentless attack.
Ruben Crothers wins that one. The maul that led to the score for skipper Kendallin a couple of scores ago. Gets going again, but Scotland hold it out on that occasion. This one's gone to ground. Can Scotland capitalise on some turnover ball? They don't really want any more set piece. Gourley finds an escape for Scotland, and it's Jennings in possession. He's slotted onto that left wing, but it's a good kick chase there by Scotland down the right flank. Some tired bodies out there for the men in blue. Ireland energised in the second half performance. Lovely work of the ball to space. Down the outside, it's Moxham. Moxham's got men inside and outside. Tackled brilliantly there by Michael Gray. Desperate defence by the left winger. Big shot in the midfield as well coming in. Ireland looking to add more. Soft hands in the midfield, carry by Owen de Butler. That one's gone to nobody. It has gone forward. Scotland continue to show real fight and pride in their defence. Even if they're not going to score, they're going to fight for every inch to stop Ireland from scoring.
Yeah, real fight, desire and hunger to keep going, but some poor decision-making by Scotland in defence, and again that comes with fatigue. So Elliot Gourlay biting in there, coming in and, you know, not making the tackle. It just leaves all the space on the outside for Ireland to attack. You know, they're better off, you know, going soft sometimes and shepherding the attack towards the touchline. You know, if you bite in, if you come in off your wing, if you come from outside to win and try and cut off the attack, you have to make the tackle. If you miss the tackle, you're in a very dangerous position, and we've seen that a couple of times. Some poor decision-making in the defence as they're starting to get tired. Also, body positions in the contact are getting a bit high. Defending the last maul, Scotland were far too high defending the maul.
So Alex Samuel's off. Different line-out call.
Knock on, then offside.
Doesn't hit the man in the line-out. Knock on, then offside called.
Knock on, then offside.
Against Scotland. Just an inaccuracy. Coming from changes, not easy, of course. Ewan Ferry, the Glasgow Hawk, on off the bench for captain Alex Samuel. Ben Muncaster has taken over the captaincy for Scotland, and that's a challenge, isn't it, Mike? When you lose your second row line-out caller with a line-out 7 metres from your own line and thrust straight into action.
Yeah, it's straight into the melting pot. It's very tough. You know, you just got to go for something as clear and simple as possible. You know, cut out any movement. Just make sure everyone's on the same page. Simple communication, simple call, and execute.
It looked like it might not be straight. Ruben Crothers, the Ballynahinch man, reaching left. It doesn't paint a good picture for Gianluca Niecki, the referee.
Yeah, hooker position. Ireland are missing a few players. That Lee Barron injury, Tom Stewart injured as well. But as we say, injuries, great opportunities for other players to come in and stake their claim.
Coach. Bind. Set.
So Scotland scrum under pressure again. Ben Muncaster, how good has he been this afternoon for Scotland in a losing fight? The Edinburgh man, absolutely outstanding, such a key player. There's Townsend, show and go, chip off the old block, does well, gets 7 or 8 metres, but it's slow ball. It's over to somebody else to clear the lines. That somebody else is Gourley. That's a good strike by Gourley. Jennings is under it, but it's a good touch finder. So into the final 5 minutes of this opening match of the Under-20s Six Nations. Ireland, defending champions, are going to start the campaign with a win, and through the middle is Ford. It's a wonderful break straight through the middle of the defence. Wonderful break by Cahill Ford. Quick hands, Osborne off the bench. Great work by Cosgrave stepping back inside. Penalty advantage. Off he goes. Will Riley with the tap and go. The Leinsterman off the bench. Kendallin, the captain. He's scored once already this afternoon. He's within inches of the line. Ireland go hunting for their 6th try, but it's not going to come. Scotland isolated in the breakdown. Ireland deemed to have held on, and Scotland once again show that they have a lot of fight that they'll carry into the next 4 matches in this Under-20 Six Nations. So Mike, Ireland are home and hosed with this game. They've had a fantastic second half in particular. Who's particularly impressed you? Who is your player of the match?
Well, there's a few to name, but for me, for Scotland in a losing team, Ben Muncaster has been absolutely fantastic. He's led from the front for Scotland in this losing team, but unfortunately he's not my player of the match. You know, you look in this back row of the Irish team, that back row is led from the front. Alex Soroka, Oisin McCormack and Alex Kendallin. And for me, Alex Kendallin, it's been a captain's performance. He has been phenomenal. His work rate, his desire both in attack and defence, the energy he's brought with his communication throughout the game. He is my player of the match. He's been fantastic and certainly led from the front as you expect from a captain.
They've won Munsterman to start this match in the Ireland 15. Man of the match, Kendallin, indeed has been absolutely outstanding, but so is this man, Jennings. Jennings with the inside, there he is. Kendallin right on cue. He must have heard us. Ireland aren't done yet. The final 3 minutes of this match. Scotland desperate in defence, absolutely desperate. Moxham. It's been a great contest with Michael Gray all afternoon between Moxham and Michael Gray. Scotland again get off the line. Can they hold out? The men in green, the green wave keeps on coming. The reach over Ollie Melville. Jamie Osborne rather. Is Jamie Osborne there? The try has been given, I believe. Jamie Osborne, he's gone from full-back to centre. He's ridden the tackle and he has reached out to score. Ireland's 6th try of the afternoon.
Yeah, very strong finish from Ireland. They've kept going. Comes from turnover ball. They're so dangerous. Great hands, interlinking play. Forwards and backs getting involved. Good carries, getting over the gain line. Good clear outs at the breakdown. And Scotland at this stage chasing shadows, and it's a great finish from Jamie Osborne, who's been great all day. Good reach, really having to stretch to get that ball over the line. And a great start for Ireland. Richie Murphy be very happy. But Scotland have certainly played with a lot of pride, a lot of heart. As we said, that first half very evenly matched.
Tim Corkery just draws it through the middle. Ireland have another 7 points. It's 38-7. There's our man of the match, the player of the match for the Under-20s Six Nations opener at the Arms Park this afternoon. He has had an all-court game, both sides of the ball, absolutely magnificent. That last try scorer as well, you mentioned Jamie Osborne, Mike, he just doesn't make mistakes. He looks so solid, reminds me a little bit of Rob Kearney. Just doesn't make mistakes, big, elusive runner, and that one there bumped off the tackle and reached over for the score. To finish off what's been a really tidy afternoon.
Yeah, and as you said, like similar to Rob Kearney, very cool, calm, collected, makes good decisions under pressure. And a lovely finish there. Going back to the to player of the match, Alex Kendellen. He's just been phenomenal. And when you look at Munster with CJ Stander retiring and legend of Munster moving away, a real opportunity there. Alex Kendellen putting his hand up, man of the match performance. Going forward, he could find himself back in there starting for Munster.
Advantage up.
Muncaster. That ball comes free. Ollie Leatherbarrow there to welcome it. McVicker. Flat ball by Gourley. Can Scotland finish with something to get a hold of, carry into their second match against the old enemy back here in 6 days' time? It's been a tough lesson this afternoon for Sean Lineen's side, young side. Of course, over half of this squad will be back for more Under-20s action next year, still in the Under-19 age group. But it's Ireland, the defending champions, of course, from 2019, with 2020's championship drawn to an early end. It's just good to see so many of these youngsters operating and competing at the top end of the sport again. Some future stars, no doubt at all. And I don't think the scoreboard, Mike, really does do the match justice. All things considered, 14 men of Scotland really punished.
Yeah, certainly Ireland have put them to the sword in this second half. But really spirited performance from Scotland. They've stuck in there. They haven't given up. They've kept fighting. Taken some belief and pride from that, watching the football last night, I think. But we wouldn't expect them to give in, but they have kept fighting.
Final play here for this Scotland-Ireland game. The final try scorer, Osborne, so elusive with ball in hand. On that occasion, though, the ball goes to ground, and referee Gianluca Gnecchi brings to a close this opening match of the Under-20s Six Nations Championship, and it's Ireland who will take away the spoils here at the Arms Park. Final score, Scotland 7, Ireland 38. So, Mike, of course, a great victory for Ireland, exactly what Richie Murphy would have liked from his side. 6 tries, and they are looking like a side to contend with in this year's championship.
Yeah, certainly a great start by Ireland, off the mark, 6 tries, taking on that form from 2019, 2020. They'll be very pleased, but they'll certainly go away and look at it, and plenty of things to work on for Ireland, especially that second half. I suppose that learning of when an opposition team does go down, a man down, not forcing the pass, not pushing the pass, and just being a bit more patient, keeping hold of the ball. For Scotland, they'll go away, they'll take great heart from that first half performance where they brought a real physical edge. That man at number 8 really led from the front for them, Ben Muncaster. I thought he had a fantastic game, and they've got to turn the page pretty quickly, move on, review the game and move on to their next game. But lots of positives certainly for Scotland, especially in that first half as well.
And all things considered, taking into account the challenges that have been faced through COVID for all of these young men in rugby, many of them, this will be the first competitive rugby they have faced in 15 or 16 months. So all things considered, the quality was there, there's no doubt the desire was there, but there's some real talent on show.
Oh, there's a huge amount of talent on show, and these guys have seen it year after year. They see their players playing in these tournaments, putting in big games like we've seen today with Kendellen getting player of the match, and then going forward and taking their opportunity to progress into their first team setups, whether it's their provinces or their clubs. you know, it all starts here. You know, this is the pinnacle at this stage for them, but, you know, the progression of where they can get to, and there's, you know, a lot of stars they see and they look up to, and they see them playing for their national team only a few years later. You know, we touched for Ireland earlier on the likes of Dan Levy, Ryan Bird, James Ryan, who got capped before he played a provincial game for Leinster.
Now we see the two tunnels very respectful. It's been a fairly fought contest. Obviously that red card to Harry Morris in the opening minute of that second half from Scotland's kickoff receipt, in fact, proved to be so crucial within the overall encounter. Having to play with 14 men, he will be very disappointed. But Mike, of course, let's not forget the 6-day turnaround now. So now Scotland and Ireland both have something to get their teeth into. They'll analyse, they'll review, and they'll get ready for the next challenge.
Yeah, and as we said, it's about turning the page very quickly, because you know, it is a short turnaround. Six days is not long at all. So it's about quickly reviewing the game, and then into your recovery, your ice baths, your stretching, and they can't be doing too much on the pitch during the week. It's all about rest and recovery.
So we're going to get down pitch side in just a few moments' time to hear from a few of the players involved in this afternoon's encounter. Ireland, of course, the happier of the two sides, winning here 38 points to 7. A game of two halves, you might say. That red card proving to be so crucial